Hi, I'm Evita. I'm from the Holy Name Cathedral, Colaba. I can start by answering the generic questions, giving you all the generic answers. But instead, I have a question for you. How many of you have been told at least once to stick within the margin? Be it on a piece of paper, a coloring book in kindergarten, your careers today, or even how much dessert you're allowed to have at family dinner. These margins, these limitations are everywhere. And staying within the margins is safe. It's comfortable. It's like living life on autopilot. You know exactly what's going to happen next. It's predictable in a way, but where's the excitement? Where are you? Let's take school projects for example. We all know the drill, right? There's this one person, like this overachiever who goes all berserk, takes charge of everything, typical leader. And then there's everyone else who's just doing the bare minimum, getting out, and there are one or two people who just disappear. And the more I think about it, the more I realize I think I was one of those overthinkers, the one who thought too much, wanted to do everything, wanted everything perfect. And I had friends tell me time and time again to, just do what's required, why are you being so extra? And I wasn't trying to show up. For me, I just wanted to put my best foot forward. And that's when I realized that it's okay to go beyond the margins if that's where your true passion lies. If I look at sports and me are a complete no-go. I mean, I don't detest it, but I almost detest sports. My friends have told me time and time again to just give it that one shot. You just try it once, you'll really like it, they say, but I just couldn't. And I used to think that maybe I'm missing some kind of universal sport gene that make me likable. But turns out, it's not me. It's not a problem. I realized it's okay to not like what everybody likes because everybody doesn't fit into the same mold, into the same margins. Because if we all followed the same patterns in life, then where would the creativity? Let's take a look at our faith. Our faith tells us that we are called to be a light, correct? Jesus didn't say sit in a corner, be low-key, just relax. No. He said you are called to be a light on a hill. And I hate to break it to you, but that hill pretty much ensures that you were meant to stand out. Let's take another example. Noah. Noah was told to build an ark when things like storms and floods were not even concepts. I mean, can you imagine the amount of ridicule he must have had to face from the people around him? But he trusted in God's plan for him. He went above and beyond. And he ended up saving the human race. Look at David. A scrawny kid with a few stones and a slingshot became one of the greatest kings in history because he dared to go outside the margin. And I'm not saying going outside the margins is easy. No, it is terrifying. In fact, I remember our youth group at Holy Name, we decided to go again, toe the margin and go above and beyond with the enactment of the Stations of the Cross a few years ago. So we added all these modern elements, and during rehearsals, there were people throwing judgment left, right and center. How will this be received? Why can't you just stick to the regular? Why can't you stick to the norm? You're going to end up doing something controversial all over again. But we said no. We decided it was worth the risk. And it turned out to be one of the most meaningful things we've ever done. All because we decided to toe that margin a little bit. And as youth, toeing that margin or crossing that margin is more complicated than you can imagine. Because as youth, we are expected to be a good student, the good child, the good brother or sister, the good friend, the good girlfriend or boyfriend, the good neighbor to the pados wali auntie. There is so much that we feel we are expected to do. And these burdens that pressure us down, these limitations that we force ourselves into, these judgments, they weigh us down more than you can imagine. There are times when we are just stuck thinking on loop in our heads, what will they say? What will they think of me? And that is when the anxiety starts to build in. That is when we begin to doubt ourselves. What will my mother say? What will my sister think of me? Will she judge me? I mean, she's 16 years old. Why do I care if she judges me? But no, will she judge me? What will my friends say? She hasn't spoken to me in over 6 months. Did I say something to offend her? What could I have possibly said? I just admitted on camera that I don't like sports. So I'm 90% sure that the guy I like doesn't like me back now. And what was I thinking, bringing all of this chaos in my life and bringing it in front of a camera? What am I doing? Breathe. Relax. Tell the overthinker in you to take a beat. Standing out isn't easy, but it is the only way to ensure that you will be yourself. And honestly, that is the only person worth being. But Again, I'm not trying to pitch you the revolution. I'm not saying go berserk, go crazy, change the world. No. Stick within the margins when you have to. But when you get a chance, take that pen and draw right past them. Stick to the status quo, do what you must. It's okay. If you think that you are the kind of person that thinks outside the box, go ahead. But real change happens when you take that box and toss it out of the window. Because life wasn't meant to be lived within the line that somebody else drew. No. God didn't create us to be mediocre. He created us to be bold, to be confident, and sometimes, yes, to be that wonderfully weird person that talks way too much, or to be that creepily quiet person who lurks in the corner. It's alright. But I would say, don't do it because I said so. Because then that would defeat the purpose, right? If you did it just because somebody told you to, it wouldn't make sense. But if, and only if you want to, start erasing the margins of your life. Doodle on the edges. Tear that paper, make a paper plane, aim it at society and just launch. It's okay. And I know the overthinker in you is probably terrified right now. I know I am. And unfortunately, there's not a lot I can give you in ways of assurances. Because to be frank, there aren't any. But I will leave you with this. The only thing worse than erasing your margins and standing out is blending in so well that eventually you'll just disappear. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next one.